So I've been enjoying driving the GT around a little bit. It was a beautiful day, and it was nice to have the car out. I actually like taking this down to the swimming pool. My grandma lives nearby, and she has us all meet her down there at the swimming pool in her HOA to go swimming and stuff. And it's just the perfect car to take down there because I don't want to take the other cars down there, let them sit in the sun, or have the kids get their wet swimming suit in there, even though I still put down towels and stuff. But it's just cool to be there. And I love sitting in the pool or relaxing after a swim and seeing the GT sitting there on the street. And it looks so good. And I just love looking at it the whole time. So it's just really cool. It's kind of hard to explain, but I really enjoy seeing the car there, especially since it's back on the road now and it's driving nice and everything. So I still had a few little things to do to the car. These are just little things that have been lingering here. The trim on the inside. Got a little friend here. Unfortunately, well, let's just say I found the rest of him later somewhere in the driveway. But anyway, I have this trim piece here, and I wanted to get the correct orientation. I looked at the other Mustangs several times to see how this worked, and it goes up here, and then it kind of disappears behind the other piece, and this rubbery piece kind of goes over it, and then the A-pillar molding actually goes over both of them. So just kind of getting these all lined up. See, this flap now goes over the harder piece that we were looking at, and it also works to keep the trim for the window lined up, or the trim for the headliner. So that helps. Now, I had some extra switches lying around, and the passenger side of the car was missing the door switches. And I mean, the switches were there, but the tops of the buttons were broken off or whatever. And this is from the Sonic Blue car, the harness. And it did have these little switches here, but I pulled them out anyway because I had this whole door pull that came with the switches on it. And I was just deciding what I wanted to use and which pieces. And I realized that I'd have to unscrew it from the new door pull. And my friend gave me this out of his Mach 1. It was broken. And I might be able to fix that eventually. I could probably glue it back together. But I realized the harness has the provisions like the new door pull has, so I need to unscrew that and then take the actual switches out and replace the switches into the harness that's in the door. And so that worked out nicely. The switch for the door lock or the window work the same. It doesn't matter which one, but you might have to cut a little tab off to make them fit. But anyway, so I got that all squared away and tried the different switches, and they all worked nicely. And so I was happy about that. But you can see they're just a little bit different. There's like a little tab, and it's kind of hard to tell, but it doesn't want to go in place exactly unless you break that little tab off. And so I did. And now, window rolls up and down just fine. And I just secured this to the new piece and bolted it in. Now, if you remember, these door harnesses were cut. That's why I said the harness is out of my Sonic Blue GT parts car. And I had used like a jump starter kit and wires to roll the window up just so that the window would roll up and keep the car interior out of the elements. And so this is a huge step forward from how the car was when I got it. And I just really like having these door pulls in here, and it just looks better and it feels better, and it makes a huge difference. When these door pulls are gone, people would get into the car and they try to pull the door shut and they don't know where to pull on it, and it didn't look very good. So now it's looking great and everything's going back together. And this door panel's not perfect. It's off of, I think this was out of the Sonic Blue car as well, had a little gouge in it there. So no big deal, but everything clipped into place nicely. So I wanted to wash both GTs, and that cat that was looking up through the transmission tunnel, if you saw that video, he was hanging out watching us. But anyway, washed the silver GT, watched the zinc yellow GT, and everything turned out nicely with that. But then I was like, well, I want to replace the fuel filter because the car had sat for like a year and I have no idea if that filter's bad. So the old one was in there and it was a little dirty on the outside, but it seemed okay. So I used the tool, got the old one out, and dumped the fuel into my lawnmower, and it seemed like it came out nice and clean. I've heard that they come out like chocolate milk sometimes if there's rust in the tank or whatever, so that looked pretty good. Then I wanted to swap the rear wheels from one GT to the other because these ones that I'm taking out the silver GT are almost new, and I've been wanting to take the GT on a little bit of a road trip, and so that will be to come in a future video. But basically that's what I was doing here, just getting the better wheels and tires on the back of the yellow GT, so I could take it. And I thought it was interesting that I used this old piece of an H-pipe as a wheel chock. It worked out all right. And I used the old crash bar bumper from the back of this car to do it. Then I did gear oil. I topped off the gear oil, and it was pretty full, so I was happy about that. So then I took the GT out to run a couple errands. I needed to, go to Costco and stuff, got some pizza, enjoyed time with the family, and that was fun. Got to have pizza with the family and enjoy a nice little drive. So that's the update for now. I really like driving this GT around and having it back on the road. I think that's a huge accomplishment. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more Mustang content.